Alright, well, it's time to get back on our 69 Mercedes 280 project. This car needs to be finished up this year. So, where we left off was I just had rebuilt the driver's side front of the fender. And I've done a little bit of work to it in between then. As you can see, the glass is out, front windshield is out, and all the dash components are apart. I've had to take the dash all apart. I needed to get off the dash pad and the rest of the interior components out of the car so I could take them to the upholstery shop, and they can be working on that and getting all the upholstery done while I'm finishing up the bodywork. So what I wanted to do today, to start with, I need to work on this hood. Now, one of the things I noticed when I first got the car was that the paint was chipped off the hood right in this area. And if you look, the gap on this hood is really tight when the hood pops, on this side only. Now this side here has a little bit bigger gap. So it clears, the hood clears the front fascia here when it opens. Now I've got the hood popped right now, so you can see when I push it down, the gap gets wider. When it pops, it just gets to where it wants to touch that fascia right there with the paint thickness. So the other thing I have noticed, and I have adjusted on the hood a little bit, there's not a whole lot of adjustment to do here. I've moved the hood down because it was sitting high of this area, and it helped it a little bit. But the one thing I have noticed, and it may be hard to see on the camera, is when the hood pops, you can see this area here is immediately high from the front edge of the hood. This side is sitting still almost flush. Now I know this car has been in an accident and was tweaked up here because there was a lot of repair work done up in here. I do believe this whole area had some work done to it. So I'm thinking it was hit over here at one point. So, and it may have even been, this section here may have been disconnected at one point and then rewelded, and I don't think they got it exactly right. What it appears to me is that this part of the front fascia is just, it's tweaked just a little bit this way, and that's what's making this area here tight when the hood is open. So what I'm going to try and do, I don't know how successful I'm going to be, but I'm going to try and get some tools in here and try and get this to twist. It doesn't have to twist a lot. I just need a little bit of twist along here to get this so that this area looks like this area when the hood pops. And that'll eliminate the problem I'm having with the gap getting really tight and the paint wanting to chip off, because the last thing I need is to open the hood on this car after the paint job is done and it chips paint off. So we got to get this gap bigger. I don't want to, I originally thought that I was going to slice this and open this gap up, but when the hood's closed, we'll go ahead and close the hood. The gap is pretty even when it's closed. As you can see, that's a pretty nice even gap. That's why I'm thinking this has a twist to it. It's just twisted down. So that's the goal for today. One of the things we're going to do is try and get that back where it needs to be. So I'm going to set the camera up on the tripod and get my porta power out and see if we can't push that panel a little bit. Alright, so I've got my porta power out. What this is, it's just it's like a hydraulic jack or hydraulic ram setup that's used to move panels around that are out of sorts when you're doing some body work. It comes with different adapters to be able to use it in different places. So I've got it set up on the bumper cross member here, which should give me a good place to push against. And we're just going to try to ease this side here and get it to roll this way. So we'll give it a little push and see if our top piece is going to contact the hood first. No. Alright, so I've got that up. I'm not sure if that's going to stay. Probably won't. No, as you can see, it drops back down. Alright. So let's see what we can do here. Another problem I'm having, as I can feel it, is I'm actually contacting the underside of the hood structure as I get this up to where it's needed. So I'm going to change my top piece. I'm going to use this one here instead. Let's see if we can't get this one in here where I need it. This one might just do what I want a little bit better. So when you're pushing panels like this, you're creating spring pressure in other areas. So in order to get the area to stay that you're pushing on, you have to relieve the stress from a different area of the panel. So what we're going to do is just kind of knock it here down this end to try and get this area to stay up. And that didn't stay up. Alright. So let's see if we can get this in here a little further down. No, it's not going to work with this one. Alright. Got this up. Let's see. Let's see if that stays. A little bit. Let's see if we move it over a little bit more. Alright, now. Let's see if that stays. Alright. A little bit. Bring it over here a little bit further. All right, now I've got that pushed up pretty high. So let's just we're just trying to relieve the pressure in an area separate from where we're pushing at to get this to not spring back as much. It's always going to go back a little bit, but you want it to kind of stay up somewhat. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open the hood and just see what our gap looks like. Okay. Well, that seemed to work because now when our hood is popped, we've got the same distance that the hood is below this lip as on the other side. So now we don't have as close. We're not getting anywhere as close to this front edge when we open the hood. So that's not going to chip the paint off. So what we did trying to roll this, that little bit, it didn't take a whole lot. It was just a little bit. And that's all it needed. So I'm happy with this. I didn't have to cut the body and weld along here or do anything like that. Just a little tweak from when it was repaired originally. And that fixed our gap up. So I just wanted to show you on the top side what we have here. As you can see, the gap now is pretty even across here with the hood opening. When you close it down, push it down. We have no close contact there anymore. So that little tweak that we did helped greatly with how this hood is going to set and be and not take off the paint when we're opening up the hood. So that's just one way you can adjust gaps on your panel openings. Like I said, we had to look at this really close to see just what was going on with this gap. I knew there was some prior accident damage on the front of this car, and it wasn't really repaired correctly the first time. So the result was too tight of a gap on the hood when it would open. Gap looked fine when it was closed, but it's that initial pop when the hood comes open that made it get too close on that gap. And that panel just needed a little bit of roll into it to make the gap the same as the other side and open that up so that the paint wouldn't rub anymore. So I hope you got something out of that. We'll have a little bit more coming up on this car here shortly. I'm going to get started on the passenger side fender rebuild. I just did a quick recap on the left side one when I rebuilt it, and I had requests to show the entire process of how I fabricated all the pieces for the repair. So we're going to go through that step by step on the passenger side front fender rebuild, and that's where we're going to go with this car next. So stay tuned. Thanks again for following, and we'll see you again soon.